Hello, hello, everyone. Okay, here we are with the worksheets for Creatures 1. So this is our Creatures episode 1, and we have a lot of cool things in here that we should check out and talk about real quick. So before we get into the instructions, make sure you know that this is a really useful chart with the vocabulary in English and Chinese. So be sure to check out the words and add other words that you want to it. That's a really good way for you to learn a little bit more. Okay, our next one here, we have a vocabulary match. So these are what we call definitions, and you have the Chinese, then you have a definition which tells us about the word, and then you have the word in English at the end. So I want you guys to remember you're going to link the Chinese with the idea of what it is, and then you're also going to link it with the English word that goes along with it. So if we look at the first one, it says very fierce or violent. So fierce or violent, we look through our words, we look for something that has to do with violent, fierce, and we can look at this word and even find out what these words mean. Violent is really rough, and fierce is like scary. So we have a word here that we learned. It's in here, and I'm sure you'll be able to find it. So you can use Google, you can use a dictionary. This, I'm not going to give you too much information. Just make sure that you connect the Chinese with the definition and the English word. Okay, so where we're going to spend most of our time today is here. This is planning a folktale. To plan a folktale will be a little bit challenging. So we're going to really talk this through. I'm going to give you some ideas now, and I invite you to come and see me for the answer video and write along with me. If you really have no ideas, you can work with my ideas. Just make sure you change some things for yourself. So this is to plan a folktale. How Tortoise Got a Hard Shell is a folktale. On this page, you will plan your own folktale. Then use these ideas to write your folktale on page 30. Now, page 30 is the next page here. We won't need to talk about it. That's where you're going to write your folktale afterwards. Let's take a look here at number 1. It says, list some animals to write about. Put a check by the one you want to write about. So, when I think about animals, well, I would think about the animals that we learned about in the book. We have the Komodo dragon. We have the gorilla. Really interesting animals to write about. We have bats. Wow, we could do something about bats and how bats lost their eyesight. So why they don't see or something like that. I think that would be a really fun one. Number 2, it says, what will you explain about the animal you chose? So if I chose bats, I would say I would write about why bats can't see. Or if I choose Komodo dragons, I would maybe think about a dragon usually has wings, or how Komodo lost his wings. Or gorillas could be something, how a gorilla became a man. That could be really interesting. So who will be the other characters in your folktale? So you want to think about other animals, or remember we had Enyame was a god, tell us in the other folktale. So you could talk about those kind of characters too. What will the setting be? So this one, the setting, it means the place, the time, the things that are happening around. Okay, the setting, you'll have to kind of really talk about their life and what's happening in their life. But mostly it is the place where it's happening. Next one says, what is one event that will happen in your folktale? So what is one thing that will happen in your folktale? I think that will be important. So again, here we could talk about the other animals, what happens, what is the problem, how do they fix the problem, and then how will your folktale end? This is really how they fix the problem. Okay, it's the end of your story. So I'm going to go and put some thinking into this. I hope that what I talked about with you will help you. I hope that you try to write your own story, think of your own problem and solution. But if you really can't, come back, check mine, and try to work with that idea. Although I always like to tell you to change some parts of it and make it your own. I'll be back with the answers for you. Meantime, take a look at this, think about your answers. Remember, when you're done here, you're going to write it again. You're going to clean up this story and write it on the next page. Okay, let's see what I come up with. I'll see you soon. Bye.